This has been one of those weeks in NASCAR where you barely have time to process one headline before the next one drops. In just a few days, we've seen a massive door swing open for a driver most fans never imagined getting a shot in a top-tier NASCAR seat. We've watched a Cup Series driver get pulled from competition right before a race weekend due to a health scare. And we've seen NASCAR issue a suspension that could genuinely cost one of its strongest teams a critical point in the season. What makes all three of these stories worth paying attention to is what they reveal about the sport right now. The new personalities trying to break in, the relentless pressure every driver faces week to week, and just how fast things can unravel for even the most prepared organizations. So let's get into it. If you spend any time in the automotive corner of YouTube, you already know Garrett Mitchell, better known to his audience as Cletus McFarland. And now he's officially stepping into the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026, doing so with one of the most storied organizations in the sport, Richard Childress Racing. His debut is set for April 4th at Rockingham, where he'll pilot the number 33 Chevrolet with Tommy's Express, a national car wash brand, on the hood as the primary sponsor. For Mitchell, this represents a full-circle moment. He built his reputation online through drag racing, wild car builds, and high-energy automotive content, amassing over 4.6 million subscribers and more than 1,700 videos since launching his channel in 2009. But his path towards stock car racing has been building quietly for a while. Earlier this year, he made his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut at Daytona, driving the number 4 Chevrolet for Nice Motors. He showed real early promise, running inside the top 10 before getting swept up in a multi-car crash on lap 6 that ended his day in 37th place. It wasn't the result he wanted, but it proved he belonged on the track. Now RCR is giving him a bigger platform. Mitchell has been open about what this opportunity means, describing it as something he genuinely never expected and deeply honors. He's spoken about the chance to learn alongside the organization's leadership team at their facility in Welcome, North Carolina, and about how much the Tommy's Express partnership aligns with the image he's trying to project: competitive, performance-driven, and fan-connected. One important detail: this is a part-time arrangement. Mitchell confirmed the current plan calls for 3 races per season, though the door is open for the relationship to grow, depending on how things develop. Notably, RCR approached him, not the other way around, with a genuine interest in developing him as a driver over time. The Tommy's Express deal itself runs for 2 years, so his presence in NASCAR circles isn't going away anytime soon. He's also still active in the ARCA Menard Series, where he gained experience in 2025 at tracks like Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte, and Bristol, all while maintaining his full content schedule. But there's an emotional layer to this story that goes deeper than contracts and sponsorships. Mitchell has shared that one of the things weighing on him is that Greg Biffle isn't here to see this. The two formed a genuine friendship through their shared work during the Hurricane Helene relief efforts in 2024, and that bond grew through collaborative motorsport projects that also helped introduce Mitchell's massive fanbase to NASCAR culture. Biffle passed away in a plane crash in December of 2025, and Mitchell was among the speakers at his memorial in Charlotte the following January. So when Mitchell takes the wheel at Rockingham this spring, it's going to carry more weight than a typical debut. And regardless of where you stand on content creators crossing over into professional racing, one thing is hard to argue: he brings an audience that NASCAR would genuinely benefit reaching. Now, let's move to the second story, and this one is a lot more concerning for a major Cup Series. Hendrick Motorsports confirmed on March 5th that Alex Bowman has been diagnosed with vertigo and will not race this weekend at Phoenix Raceway. He was not medically cleared to compete in the Straight Talk Wireless 500. The symptoms first appeared last weekend at Circuit of the Americas, where Bowman began feeling seriously ill mid-race and had to exit the car on lap 71. The team then spent 2 full days putting him through medical evaluations, including a session behind the wheel of a street car at the 1010 Motorsport Club facility in Concord, North Carolina. designed to gauge how he was handling things physically. Ultimately, the doctors made the call that he should sit out. Anthony Alfredo, 26, will take over the number 48 Chevrolet for the weekend. Alfredo isn't a stranger to the team. He's logged over 210 starts across NASCAR's National Series, including 43 at the Cup level, and he regularly works with Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet through simulator programs. He's a qualified replacement, but this is far from an ideal scenario. What makes this especially difficult for Bowman is the location. He's from Tucson, Arizona, which makes Phoenix essentially his backyard. Missing a home track race is hard for any driver. According to Hendrick Motorsports president Jeff Andrews, Bowman pushed hard to be in that car, but the team held firm that his health had to come before any race result. Andrews noted that Bowman had been working hard through his recovery and that the team was encouraged by his progress, but they weren't willing to put him back in competition until he received a full medical clearance. No return timeline has been set. The timing is rough beyond just the emotional piece. Bowman currently sits 36th in the Cup Series standings after a difficult start to 2026. He's also no stranger to health-related absences, having previously missed races due to a concussion and a fractured vertebrae. Hendrick Motorsports plans to file for a medical waiver with NASCAR to protect his championship eligibility despite the missed event. But losing a race this early in a season always creates a hole that's hard to climb out of. Now let's talk about the third story, because this one involves Ross Chastain and Trackhouse Racing, and it comes after a pretty chaotic moment at Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR has handed 2 race suspensions to a pair of Chastain's pit crew members, rear tire changer Kenneth Posega and jackman Josh Appleby. The suspensions stem from an incident on lap 75 at COTA, when Chastain's right rear wheel came loose while the car was running under green flag conditions. Under NASCAR's rulebook, a wheel detaching from the car after leaving pit road triggers automatic suspensions for 2 members of the crew responsible for that corner. No exception. The team had already absorbed a 2-lap penalty during the race itself, which effectively ruined Chastain's day and sent him home with a 35th place finish. Now, they head into Phoenix shorthanded, without 2 key members of their pit crew for at least the next 2 Cup Series events. At a track where pit strategy can easily make or break a race result, this is not a small problem. The pressure is compounded by the fact that Phoenix is hosting a packed weekend, with IndyCar and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series also on the schedule. High-profile weekends demand high-level execution, and Trackhouse Racing is going to have to put together a plan that compensates for who they're missing. When you look at all 3 of these stories together, they paint a pretty clear picture of NASCAR in 2026. Unpredictable, fast-moving, and full of storylines that nobody saw coming 2 weeks ago. A YouTube personality gets a legitimate shot with a legacy team. A championship contending driver is suddenly sitting at home with a medical condition. And one of the sport's sharper organizations is going into a critical race shorthanded after a costly mistake. But I'm really curious what you guys think about all of this. Do you think Garrett Mitchell can actually develop into a serious NASCAR driver with Richard Childress Racing? How big of a setback is this for Alex Bowman and the number 48 team? And how much will the Trackhouse Racing pit crew suspension hurt Ross Chastain over the next couple of races? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and drop your opinion in the comments, because I always love hearing what other